So for us, mass behavior has always been a starting point for a lot of the digital works that we have been making, and so also for Tribe. With Tribe we started what we wanted to be a series of digital portraits of the crowd.
Actually these pieces are double portraits. They have a kind of micro effect. You can look at it as the big mess, kind of study about how the people function in a bigger group, in a swarm. But when you zoom in it and you look at it, you can really see some own stories, and they're kind of inflated egos, kind of shopping windows of their self, selling their own ideas about their own individuality.
A tribe in this case, Tribe City, is a collection of 300 characters which we can reuse for different landscapes and tell different stories every time, different scenarios.
So a lot of characters that are part of Tribe were designed during the lockdown, of the COVID lockdown, and they also represent how a lot of people were behaving during the lockdown. What I saw was a lot of people that were in their own, getting more in their own safety bubble, and also using that almost as this kind of fashion statement. So this is why we have a lot of characters that are like really in a bubble or in a hazmat suit, and etc.
Maybe the common thing in these characters is that they are all living in the center of their own universe. I think that's the most important. They're kind of adolescent, like my children are now 14 and 16, and they are really the middle point of their own universe. And they're just yelling, "Look at me, I'm here, and look at me," and they don't see others.
So you see a large square where people, characters come in from the sides, and they start walking around a strange, like pulsating totem. And at some point they start circling around the totem and start worshipping the tower. And after that they walk around again, and at some point they panic and they run off, so they run back to where they came from.
The theme of moving in circles is something that you see in a lot of our work. The total and utter uselessness of a group moving in a circle and really going nowhere is such a profound symbolic way of keeping a mirror up to society.
I think that one of the most important thing was to making this scene is that the tower is not so explicit. It's like it's more foggy. It's more kind of assumption that I think that the tower wants to tell something, but I don't know it for sure, but I see that the crowd reacts on it. But the question is the crowd really conscious about what the tower wants, or is just like going with the flow without knowing it, that it's been dominated?
Well, for the idea of Tribe, we now have, I think, about 350 different characters. So they're not made for just one portrait. All these characters are very usable to make different portraits. We have a lot of ideas about how to make new landscapes about the masses. But this wasn't necessarily something that we came up with in the beginning. This just happened because we were making all those characters, and then suddenly the material is talking back to you and demanding where it wants to go itself.
Ooh, that's a big question. I mean, the future, we also cannot see the future, and that's what makes it so interesting with this kind of technique, with these game engines, and this kind of new way of working for us as well, because before that we really directed every single pixel of every artwork. We knew before what it has to be, but now with these kind of new game engines, it's like a new world, like we are more observing it, making some rules, making some characters, and just see what happens. And it gives always a lot of new ideas. Okay, what can we do with these existing characters? I mean, like, you're a football team, you can play it in your own stadium here in Real Madrid, but you say, okay guys, now we go to Brazil and we play there, and then you have a total different game in a different kind of environment. So that's what makes interesting. We have our football team, and we can travel with them to a lot of new different places.
So Tribe War starts as an empty plane. Different groups of different characters come in. Every group has a certain color, mostly primary colors. There's a red team, a green team, a blue team, a yellow team and a white team. And they start blending in as a crowd, and at a certain point they start fighting. And they start fighting until one team has won and all the others are dead. And then they celebrate, and then more new armies come in, new groups of characters come in, and then the story starts all over again.
I was looking for a classical theme that would fit the tribe characters, and then I think it was in the Prado, I saw a lot of paintings, old war paintings, and then I thought war is like this classical theme, but how can we, is there a modern way to depict war nowadays? And what kind of wars are there going on, except between wars between countries and wars between religions? But if you take a look online, I mean, there's this new kind of civil war going on with tribes where people are, I mean, if you can be woke or alt-right, and I think they all exist with the notion, no, we are right, but the other one is wrong. And that's for us really also a basis of how narrow-minded mono-perspective works with not individuals but also the identity of a tribe.
The randomness, and that's why it's the pointless of it. A never-ending war, and you never know who will be the winner. It's just like the reason to fight is to fight and not to win, because you can never win. It's always going on, and there will be always a new winner. It's just like when you look back to history, it's the same. Sometimes up, sometimes down, but nobody is the winner for all the time. So it's just always changing and changing. You never have a status quo. It's kind of rule of nature.